Whew, things just got messy in the Harris family. King Harris is out here spilling all the tea after his dad, T.I., kicked him to the curb for getting his girlfriend pregnant. And trust, King's not holding back on how it all went down. From family drama to emotional breakdowns, this story is heating up fast. Let's dive into the details. All right, here's a more casual and informal paraphrase with that pop gossip vibe. So the word out there is that things are seriously heating up in T.I. and Tiny's crib. Apparently, T.I. is not too thrilled about his son King expecting a baby with his girlfriend, and he's got reasons. T.I. thinks King's girl is only in it for the cash, and that King's totally clueless about what he's gotten himself into. Things got real bad when T.I. and King allegedly had a fight, and T.I. ended up kicking King out of the house. But people are talking, and some are saying this is all T.I.'s fault, because it's clear King's just a kid trying to get his dad's approval. The drama keeps getting wilder, so let's break it down real quick. We all thought T.I. was happily stepping into his grandpa era, with his kids starting their own families. I mean, Tiny's daughter Zonique has a daughter, and T.I.'s son Damani just welcomed his little one too. But T.I. sounded kinda stressed when he shared that King was also expecting a baby with his girlfriend. Now, we don't know much about this girl, but Neighborhood Talk dropped some pics showing her with a baby bump. And the comments? They were wild. People were saying King's too immature for a kid, asking how old his girl is. She's gotta be in her late 20s while King looks like he's 12. Folks were clowning that she just wanted a rich baby daddy and King's just along for the ride. A lot of people think King made a mistake and now he's stuck with a girl who looks way older and is only after his money. She might not even care about being with him for real. I mean, come on. King is 20, but he could easily pass for 16 or 17. The whole thing feels shady, but who knows, right? Some are even saying King did this on purpose, like he's trying to prove to T.I. what being a real dad is all about. That's one way to make a statement, but do we really know? If you've been following the T.I. and Tiny saga, you know their relationship with King has always been rocky. The boy stays making headlines for wild stuff, from getting caught with weed in his car to public fights. For example, King once got into it with a Waffle House employee just because they put pickles on his order when he didn't ask for them. He recorded the whole thing and was super rude, even telling the employee to step outside and fight. Wild, right? All that drama over some pickles? King was out here looking like a spoiled kid, making life harder for folks working minimum wage, and people were not feeling it. People did not appreciate that type of attitude coming from King. Lol, that lil boy gonna get beat up. He grew up in the suburbs trying to act tough about some pickles, but as if that wasn't bad enough, King had everyone talking again when he pulled a stunt with a homeless man just for some clout. So, here's what happened. King waved a $50 bill in front of this guy, trying to get a viral video for the one-chip challenge. The dude was seriously struggling from the heat and really needed water, but King kept pushing, saying stuff like, "This one's a different flavor, but it's still hot. Just 5 more minutes for $50. Well, the guy couldn't make it and lost the challenge. King ended up giving him $20 as a consolation, but that didn't make up for the fact that he put the man's health at risk, especially knowing those chips got banned after a kid lost his life doing the challenge. This whole thing really messed up King's relationship with his parents, and T.I. even threw him under the bus, saying he knew for sure King was on a path to prison if he kept acting out like this. Harsh, but can we blame him? So, T.I. made this video after King, and Boozy's son, Tootie Raw, got busted for weed and DUI. The charges eventually got dropped, but folks weren't letting King off easy, calling him out for acting tough when he's just a rich kid. King went live, clearing up the rumors, saying he wasn't trying to be gangster, and that getting pulled over wasn't even his fault. Honestly, the whole thing didn't blow up much, and when Boozy was asked about it, he backed up his son, owning up to doing some things that might have led them into that mess. But T.I., he took a whole different approach. First, he went live and totally put King on blast for stirring up drama, saying his son's about to learn some hard lessons real soon. Then, T.I. turned it into comedy, cracking jokes about King's arrest during his stand-up. Like, "Y'all, was it too soon?" T.I. might have been trying to keep things light, but joking about your kid getting locked up right after it happens. Bold move. Naturally, this got people digging into T.I.'s relationship with King. and what they found wasn't looking great. For starters, it seems like T.I. was barely there for King when he was growing up. T.I. was in and out of jail right from when he and Tiny found out they were having King, and by 2009, when King was just 5, he was already used to living in front of cameras thanks to their MTV reality show T.I.'s Road to Redemption. But 45 days into the show, T.I. was shipped back to prison for a year on weapons charges. Once he got out, the family jumped into another reality show, The Family Hustle, in 2011. Over the next few years, T.I. and Tiny were all over the place with cheating scandals and breaking up a bunch of times. This toxic environment was what King had to grow up in. Plus, he was going through puberty right in front of the cameras. It's no surprise King started acting out. On a 2019 episode of Family Hustle, 14-year-old King told his parents he wanted to start a music career, but Tiny wasn't having it. She kept going off on him, even when King said he felt pressured. Tiny brushed it off, saying it's all part of the business, and you could see King tearing up on screen. She just kept yelling like, "Why are you crying?" And King sitting there trying to hold it together. It was rough. Later on, King asked if he could be homeschooled to focus more on music, but his parents shot that down with T.I. telling him he hadn't worked hard enough to quit school for music. Through all of this, it seemed like T.I. and Tiny were more focused on their messy relationship than actually parenting. King, who's been clowned for trying to act tough, eventually spoke out, saying even though he grew up with his parents' money, he actually grew up in the hood with his grandma. According to him, T.I. and Tiny didn't want anything to do with him when he was younger. The only time he was at their fancy gated mansion was when they needed him to film The Family Hustle. As soon as filming wrapped, it was back to his grandma's in the hood. So King claims he was mostly raised by his grandma, and T.I. and Tiny didn't really want much to do with him when he was younger. According to King, the only time he'd get invited to his parents' gated mansion was when they needed him to film for The Family Hustle. They'd act like a perfect family on camera, but once filming wrapped, King was shipped right back to his grandma's crib in the hood. At first, people thought King was just trying to sound cool, but after digging into it, it turns out he wasn't lying. Even his sister Zonique said the same thing, that T.I. and Tiny were more about spending time together than actually raising their kids. Everything boiled over last November when King went to a Falcons game with the fam. T.I. and Tiny started recording a video, joking about how King grew up all pampered and rich. King wasn't having it, though, and tried to clap back, saying he mostly lived with his grandma and not in their mansion. But instead of taking him seriously, they just laughed and kept bringing up embarrassing stuff from his childhood. It got so heated that T.I. had to put King in a headlock just to calm him down. King was all like, "Y'all want to act like I had it easy with a silver spoon, but I was out there in the hood at my grandma's." T.I. tried to brush it off, but King wasn't backing down, going off about how he never lived that mansion life and was always in the streets. He even dragged T.I. for being fake, saying, "I've been standing on my business since day one. Y'all can't play with me like that." Things got so wild that King went on a rant on his IG story after the game, calling T.I. out for faking an image for the internet. He was basically like, "Stop acting like you care about me when you really don't. I'm a grown man now, and I'm not letting anyone disrespect me, not even you." It's clear King's fed up with living in his parents' shadow, which, let's be real, a lot of teenagers can relate to. The only difference is, King's got money and fame in the mix. But it doesn't seem like T.I. cares about that. He thinks King needs to get out there and learn some tough lessons on his own. Word on the street is, this pregnancy was the last straw for T.I., and it's not looking like they'll be reconciling anytime soon. Fans have been leaving comments saying stuff like, "I don't blame T.I. King's gone way too far this time," and "That girl and her mom are just after T.I. and Tiny's money." But what do y'all think? Will T.I. and King work it out? Or is King about to be left to fend for himself? Let us know, and don't forget to check out the next video.